Hello and welcome everyone, Lala here, and today I am reviewing the Qpad MK80 gaming keyboard. It's a mechanical keyboard. It retails for around about £90 or €129 directly through their website, and I'll link you directly to their website as well as Amazon, although I should mention on Amazon check all the details so you definitely get the right combination of keyboard layout and mechanical switches, because this keyboard, you can easily actually see this on the Qpad website, the various different layouts that you can get this in, obviously UK, US, Nordic, etc. As well as a variety of MX Cherry switches. Now the one that they've sent me to take a look at and review has the MX Black, which you can see by the little sticker there. If the camera will focus, it probably won't. But actually on the back it tells you all the other different switches, which I'll quickly run through now. So you can get Cherry MX Blue, which probably the best way to describe this is it kind of feels more like a laptop kind of feedback, but it's very loud and clicky. Now that often is a characteristic of a mechanical keyboard, but the blues are very loud, so maybe not the best if you need kind of a quieter typing experience. But that said, blue switches often are great if you do a lot of typing. They just might be rather loud. You've got MX Brown, which for me, as obviously, you know, a YouTuber, someone that makes lots of Let's Plays, I'm doing lots of live commentaries, I'm often looking for ways to kind of minimise the click of my mouse, minimise the click of my keyboard without having to kind of add in noise gates and things like that later on, if possible. So the Browns would be my kind of switches of choice if I wanted, you know, kind of light feedback, but it doesn't give you such a loud, it doesn't actually give you a loud click, it gives you just kind of a normal key press sound. You've got the blacks, which I've got here, which give you a hard you take the most force to actually depress the key. It's a linear switch, and then you've obviously got probably the most popular, the Cherry MX Red as an option as well, and they're kind of like the middle ground between most of them. Now I just wanted to add something here. I wanted to do kind of a quick sound test of the keys, the Cherry MX Black switches, because I know often people ask me how loud are those switches, does it make a lot of noise, and I've spoken about that already in this review. So here is a quick test of kind of the keys. So, you know, they're not the quietest mechanical keys out there. You probably want to look at the Cherry MX Browns for that. But they're not the loudest out there either. Obviously, stuff like the spacebar and enter are a lot louder, but the keys are actually not too bad. As you can see, it's actually not that much to look at. It's actually quite a small keyboard, especially if you take off the adjustable wrist rest at the bottom, which is held on by two kind of plastic clips at the bottom. That does worry me slightly, especially if you're going to take that wrist pad on and off a lot. But then again, probably with this, you're probably really quickly going to work out whether you like it and it's perfect for your wrist, or whether you want to take it away and add one of your own, say, spongy wrist rests. That being plastic, I'm not sure how strong that is. I haven't obviously broken it in, you know, review testing, so I assume it's okay. But just something to be aware of. But it's actually quite a nice wrist rest, and I should say it's kind of got a rubberized finish on it, so it actually feels quite nice, and, you know, a little bit of grip for your palm, and it's big enough to obviously support your palm, but not too huge to take up loads of space, such as, say, the Gamdius mechanical keyboard that I've reviewed in the past, and the Gamdius Aries keyboard that I reviewed recently. Also, on that fact, you may have noticed I've had a haircut. Now, I'm actually about to release another review in a day or two's time, which I recorded before I got this, so just in case you're like, oh my god, he can time travel, unfortunately, well, I guess I can with video scheduling, but no, actually I can't, I'm afraid. That would be awesome though. Plenty of places to visit if I did. But yes, obviously you can see it's blue backlit keys. Now you can't change that colour, that it is blue for the whole keyboard, but that's fine. It actually looks quite nice, and unlike some keyboards which really, they don't like the keys that well, you know, it's just kind of a strip. These each have their own individual light underneath the key, which is really useful, and you can check that out. They supply a key puller in the kit, and here it is here as well. Really easy to use, and you can also use that to add on 4 orange keys to replace your WASD setup if you want it. So, you know, gaming orientation, obviously your WASD is your main gaming keys there for movement or what have you. So you can change that, but obviously, as you can see from the video, unfortunately they don't have any lettering on them, so you don't get that blue effect coming through. Don't know if you like that or not. I think it's okay, it looks alright, and it's, you know, kind of cool they just included that anyway. Also, what's included in the box is a PS2 to USB adapter, because this plugs in via USB and PS2. Now, if you don't plug in the USB as well as the PS2, then you won't get the full illumination on the keyboard. You need both those plugged in. Now, obviously, if you don't have a PS2 compatible motherboard, you can plug this adapter in that comes with it. All the USBs are gold plated as well, so low latency there. And that is pretty much everything else that comes in the box. Obviously, you've got these kickers underneath, so you can adjust the height of the keyboard as well, which I really like. And you'll be able to see from the side profile here, the keys are actually kind of slightly raised. They sort of curve down, give you a little curve down and then up again, to kind of give you good feedback and good kind of control over the keys when you're using them for gaming. So that's good. There's no macro keys on here at all, and there's no software with this. It is plug and play, so you don't need to fiddle with any software, but also that means there is no way to kind of there's no software provided to add macros. Obviously you can use third-party software if you want to and set up some through your function keys or whatever if you want to as well. Speaking of the function keys, there are some media controls along the top, pretty simple, muting audio, lower and increase volume, play and pause, as well as skip forward, skip backwards. And to control the brightness, you simply hold down the function key, which is located on the right hand side of the keyboard, and use the numpad 8 or 2 to go up and down with brightness. There's 4 different levels, but I think even in, you know, kind of direct sunlight, you can see this is a very well lit keyboard. I'm hoping at least the video shows this, but you know, some keyboards really don't do well with backlighting in the midday sun. This one actually does. Not that obviously you're going to really benefit from that backlighting during the day. It's, you know, for the night, it makes it look good, but you know, it's nice that they've actually included decent lighting. Often you get a nice mechanical keyboard, it's got all these lighting options, you know, 16.8 million colours you can choose from, but the brightness levels are awful, or they're thin strips across, you know, covering multiple keys. Each of these has its own LED behind the key, and that means you have a really nice displayed kind of key with that blue light behind it. The only thing I would criticise about the lighting is that not all the media keys and say the backspace and enter keys, which have kind of a secondary bit of typing or text or what have you, are all fully lit, because you would need an LED at the top of the key and at the bottom, and the LEDs are at the top of the key for the most part. Obviously you've got numlock, caps lock and scroll lock, pretty standard. And the only other features of this keyboard that I want to point out are the fact that you have at the end here 2 USB 2.0 ports, a headphone and a microphone port, which, as you saw from the cables earlier on, you can plug those cables into the back of your PC, and then they'll obviously run up to the keyboard, so that you can just plug your headset and microphone directly into the ports up there. Obviously you could plug your mouse into the USB up here. Now, one other review that I did check out before I got around to make this review as well, because I like to compare notes, they did mention that it did kind of seem in a way a little bit odd that they put the USB and headset inputs on the right hand side of the keyboard, when from a fair few of us we're right handed, and that's kind of more universal than left-handed boards. Not saying that there's anything against lefties, but for the most part, often most of you know, most of the setups and layouts we see are set towards right-handed gamers, or those that prefer their right hand anyway. So just with that, you know, normally you have your mouse on the right hand side and the keyboard on the left. with all these potential wires coming in and out on this right hand side, it might have made sense to have that on the left, where you're less likely to have your mouse. And obviously if you've got good cable management, then you're good, but if you're messy, like I am sometimes, although I'm trying to improve that with my desk setup, then, you know, that might just mean something to consider. So that is pretty much all I can say on the Qpad MK80. Time to wrap up and give it a score. I'm really impressed with this keyboard. It's a nice, simple keyboard. It doesn't try to do any more than what's needed. It works really well. You know, you've got a good set of basic features here, and I like the fact that you've got a detachable wrist rest. Obviously, as you can see, if you're lifting up and then you let go, it will slump a little bit, but nobody games on a hovering keyboard, so that's not an issue. That's just obviously the way it's, you know, it clips in. Again, I like the fact actually it's not too big of a keyboard, especially if you're going to a LAN party or something like that. This is not too difficult to transport. It's not actually too heavy either. It's not too thick. The flex, I can't really show you the flex that easily, but can't really flex it too much. It's pretty solidly built. You've got rubberized feet on the bottom and obviously those kickers, so that you can adjust this to the height that you want it, or at least give it a little bit of a boost. So overall, I'm really impressed with this. I would say though, and this is going to be reflected in the score which I'm going to give it, is that it is quite expensive. Now this is a good solid product, and I do love Qpad's headsets. In fact, they're the only product from them that I've reviewed in the past. I've now had a chance to review this keyboard, and I've got a mouse of theirs that I'm going to be reviewing in a week or so's time as well. Now they do certainly ooze quality, the Qpad products, but despite oozing lots of quality, there are some other keyboards that for similar prices offer a lot more and aren't, you know, too shabby themselves. So I would say the price is maybe potentially a little off-putting for the fact that it is quite a basic keyboard, no, you know, big macro functions or something like that. There's no software with it, which may be a positive or negative depending on your own experiences with keyboard software. So overall, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. It's a solid keyboard, it really does well, and if you're not looking for anything too fancy but want something really well built, good quality, and it comes with a 2-year warranty, then this may well be the gaming keyboard to look at. And the fact that you can customise this with pretty much any of the Cherry MX switches that you want to suit your own personal needs or your own kind of favourite switches that you like, then your own preferences there, that's pretty good. I like the fact they've included those inputs at the top there. That's actually quite useful. Obviously, if you don't have a PS2 connection in your motherboard, then you will be wanting to use the adapter, which obviously you're using one USB slot on your motherboard. If you don't have the PS2 port on your PC, then you'll have to use the adapter, so you do then lose 2 USB ports, but you then gain them back here. Maybe it's a shame that they're not USB 3.0, but is it a big deal if most of the things you may well plug in here are peripherals anyway? Don't think that's much of an issue. So that's where I'm going to wrap up. 8 out of 10 for the Qpad MK80. Really enjoyed reviewing this. Again, nice solid product. Like the wrist rest, like most of the features of it. The fact that you know, it doesn't have too many. Doesn't get overcomplicated. Nice, simple, mechanical gaming keyboard. Thanks guys, if you've enjoyed this review, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you've used this keyboard before, if you're looking to get one. Until next time, don't forget to comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, take pride in joining the Legion. Ciao for now.